Hello everyone, and welcome to this live webinar with Trustpilot and Relevance. Today we're going to talk about personalization and social proof, specifically 6 tactics to optimize your marketing. I'm Chris Williams, your host for today, and I'm the head of UK partnerships at Relevance. And today I'm joined by Peter Simpson, global head of partnerships at Trustpilot, and Ben Ferretti, Senior CRM Database Executive at Glasses Direct.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So the agenda for today, I'm going to talk through why social proof and personalization is important. And then I'm going to take you through 3 tactics to improve the customer experience on email and web. Pete's then going to take you through 3 tactics to build trust and urgency. And then Ben is going to bring it all together in the form of a Glasses Direct case study. And hopefully we'll have time for a few questions at the end, so get those ready. I think you can send them through on the chat function. So first of all, why is personalization and social proof important? Well, as we know, customers are notoriously faced with a lot of choice. So they face a paradox of choice, and they're also time poor. So we as marketers need to make it as easy for them to purchase from us as possible. Of course, we've realized this isn't easy. A lot of marketers face issues around data silos, customers using different devices, but people who do invest in personalization and social proof can reap the rewards. So one of our clients, Rip Curl, who we're working with quite recently, just doing the basics of personalization with some elements of social proof in there, and they've seen a strong 10% uplift from doing that. A couple of stats here from eConsultancy that I thought were really interesting to pull out. Obviously, consumers in general, 72% of them are frustrated by content that isn't relevant to them. Customers are 80% more likely to purchase when the experience is personalized. So I'm going to now go through 3 tactics to improve the customer experience. Number 1, learn about your customers and then make their lives easier. So in this section, I'm going to talk through data capture, crowdsourced product recommendations with social proof, and abandon cart and browse. So very much the staples of a personalization strategy. So usually when clients start working with Relevance, their ID rate, so the number of people that they can identify that come to the website, is quite low. Now, of course, you can start personalizing around someone's browsing behavior without them being identified. But when you can identify them, you can start personalizing across device and across channel. So example from Arlo and Jacob here, a very simple pop-up, which is rules-based, going to target unidentified customers, encouraging people to sign up to the newsletter to receive promotions, ideas, and product launches. Incentivization works really well. So Herring, this example is from getting people to sign up to win a backpack. That kind of supercharges sign up. So if you've got a way to kind of leverage the products in the form of a competition or an offer, I think it's definitely worth doing that. And then if you want to go one step further, this is an example from FatFace where they're actually segmenting their data that they're collecting. So they can start personalizing around what people are specifically interested in. So on to the next point, crowdsourced data and content. So the example on the left, Mothercare, they're surfacing their most popular products within a product category. Very, very easy to do. And then bolstering that with social proof, so how many people are viewing this at the moment, and star rating. And of course, if you've captured someone's name, it's very effective to start using it. So test whether something is more highly converting with someone's name on it. A good example from Thornton's there. Rip Curl, very basic to start off with, just started with their most popular products on the main page. Onto triggers. Now, triggers are part and parcel of an e-commerce website. If you're not doing it already, I would heavily recommend you looking into a personalization strategy using triggered emails. And of course, it doesn't have to be just be a boring, you left this in your basket. You can start testing the content and layer personalization programs using multiple triggers. And of course, this can be inclusive of things like product recommendations. So stat from Cleachers here, they had a roughly around 25% identification rate when they started, and that was increased to 65, so they can market to 40% more people that come to their website. And of course, with that, you'll then see sales start to snowball. So their triggered emails, they actually year on year went up by 347%. So a huge increase just by doing the basics around data capture. Point number 2, show your listening. So if someone has been browsing the website or they've given you information in the form of signals or data that you've collected on them, use that to personalize content based on rules. At the most basic level, this could be done through brand affinity, category information, location, or even weather targeting. Dynamic product recommendations go a step further than crowdsourced, and obviously a very high converting in comparison because it's specifically what the customer is interested in. And then back in stock and price drop alerts, we have seen such great results from these because they're super simple to set up and are targeted towards what the customer is last looking at. An example of content personalization around brand, we work with Jessops, and people often buy Canon or Nikon cameras. So this is an abandonment email which shows the Canon creative and the Nikon creative displayed at the top, and then product recommendations laid later down the chain there. So FFX has done something very similar. Tradesmen are usually loyal to one particular brand or a couple of brands. So they personalized around, this is an example from Bosch, highlighted the discounts in there with the ratings, as you'll see, but then also shown cross and upsell recommendations. So our latest Bosch products, best-selling Bosch products. Product recommendations, very easy to set up and filter. When you can dynamically personalize those recommendations, people see great results. So Ben will take you through the Glasses Direct case study. Sunglasses shop, they've shown a personalized Ray-Ban banner and then personalized recommendations using machine learning, where they've filtered within a product category of Ray-Ban. Of course, that doesn't just have to be shown on the homepage. It can be shown on the product pages, in pop-ups. Very often, if you add something to your cart, you can show cross-sell product recommendations, works really well. Or even, as on the right, a post-purchase email, maybe with an incentive in there. So Sean gets 10% off and a countdown timer against when he can use that coupon. And as I said, alerts like back in stock and price drops. So if something has dropped in price or has come back into stock since that customer has viewed it, usually within the last month, those emails, very, very high converting and very high click-through rates. So an example from Viavet here, they personalized around their product categories. So in this case, horseworming. Just to put this stat into context, so their emails generated an extra £1 and 2p per email sent. Usually their emails generate around kind of 7p per email. So a substantial uplift there. And the third and last technique from me is anticipate the customer needs in order to automate personalized content in real time. So once you've started doing the kind of the basics of your personalization strategy, you can start looking at all these signals and data that you've got that can feed into a business intelligence platform to automate content in real time. So these are things like person history rules. What have they not bought already? What might they be interested in using product tagging? What was their last search? Even person history rules around whether someone's a top buyer or a lapsed buyer. So it's feeding all this information that you've got. And obviously this is captured on site. You can feed this in from a CRM platform and use signals. All of that can go into a segment at the most basic level, and then you can begin testing those segments. An example here of web personalization using all the content that we just talked through, personalized banners, images. You can personalize based on pretty much anything, including someone's location or weather. Using product recommendations, obviously very, very important when you're a retail website. If you're a travel website, showing recommendations around holidays or flights, etc. And then showing the content that's relevant to them. So social feeds, videos, blog articles, which are tagged up using that particular product category. So of course, it's important to look at your strategy overall and work out how these tactics can be fed into the personalization journey, into the customer journey, sorry, and across your website and email and mobile assets. And Ben is going to take you through an example of that in a minute. Now over to Pete to talk through tactics to build trust and urgency.
Thanks, Chris. So, as you said before, consumers today are bombarded with messages from marketeers. So personalization is obviously very important. But of course, once you reach someone, then them being able to actually trust you, your business, and your message is also very important as well. Certainly in this age of fake news, I think it's very important for consumers to understand that they can build that trust in you. So as marketeers, certainly at Trustpilot, we would advocate building that trust through many means, using user-generated content, customer stories, but obviously as well feedback and ratings and reviews. And one sort of tactic we've seen customers use very well is using actual UGC and reviews in their above-the-line advertising. So if you live in London, you've probably seen Trustpilot in printed ads, and sometimes, you know, we now appear on TV, obviously alongside other review companies. But actually, we've seen a particular upswing in that in recent times at Trustpilot, and we think that's basically down to, I think, our recognition. So we did some research with London Research last year that showed that Trustpilot as a review brand is recognised by something like 58% of consumers. But it's interesting, actually, only 8% of our customers are adding Trustpilot into their above-the-line advertising at the moment. So we are promoting this as a tactic. We obviously see our innovative ones are doing it. We did some research this summer after the launch of our new branding with Circon Research. And then we were interested in a couple of things, really. One, the impact of Trustpilot in advertising, but also what was the impact of a 5-star rating for a business versus a 4-star rating versus just Trustpilot. And what was interesting was that actually the results are very high, first of all. So for just having a 4-star rating added to an advert, the feedback from consumers is that they were more likely to trust that brand, that business, by 88%. Actually, with just the Trustpilot logo on its own, it was 89%. So no real sort of impact there in terms of having a 4-star. In fact, we often think 4 stars as believable, more believable than a 5-star. And with a 5-star review, it's actually 90%. So we believe it's a very good tactic to add into your above-the-line advertising to increase that trust at that stage in the funnel. Secondly, then, in terms of mid-funnel, when you're thinking about your search, social, testimonials, etc., we believe that UGC and reviews certainly can have a big impact in terms of search. So certainly at Trustpilot, we provide all our reviews into Google, and this has quite an impact in terms of search, both in terms of your paid search and also your organic search. So with paid search, with Google seller ratings, Google themselves say that Google seller ratings improve search results by 10%. We see a range of impacts for our customers. We do have customers such as Pearl Source, who did actually benefit from a 38% increase in traffic following receiving Google seller ratings through Trustpilot. And with rich snippets, again, it really depends on the vertical and the business, but in general, we see people improving research results by 20 to 30%. So again, UGC and reviews in your search can have a major difference. And we would also suggest, outside of the reviews world, looking at consumer stories and feedback, using that in your social channels where you can, to increase that personalization and obviously feedback in terms of you take what customers say very personally and seriously by interacting with them. And then as they come through the funnel, you can then see again ratings added to those customer stories all the way through towards then the bottom of the funnel when you're then adding consumer feedback and interaction. So this example in the travel sector, you can see booking.com here, you're doing a good job of showing you that other people have booked at this hotel. It's in high demand, it's got a high rating. It's all about giving you that social proof. Other people have bought this hotel, other people would recommend it, coming from various different directions. Again, when you get to the different specific product level, obviously product reviews can then obviously impact in terms of adding to that's the particular product I want, as well as coming from that particular business. So you're really looking to add that social proof at different areas on the page. Right through to obviously the checkout, you're continuing to remind people of those ratings. And again, other people are about to buy this hotel, so now it's the urgency aspect of, if you don't hold down that price, you're going to lose it. So, please fulfill, and all the way through, right to the bottom where you're hovering over the buy button. And again, you're being reminded that, 9.5 out of 10 for this particular company, really reinforcing you right through to the end of the purchase funnel. So hopefully that gives you a short summary of how you can use user-generated content and reviews through right from the top to the bottom of the funnel. I'll hand over to Ben now, who talked you through the Glasses Direct case study.
Thank you, Peter. I will quickly talk you through our case study and how we implemented the tactics that Chris and Peter already talked you through during the first part of the webinar. Just a couple of words about MyOptique Group and Glasses Direct. The company was born back in 2004 and it became MyOptique, and the brand portfolio expanded with brands like Sunglasses Shop and other brands. At the moment, we are an e-commerce leader in Europe for eyewear, and we primarily serve our customers. We have over 3 million customers served already, especially through prescription glasses and sunglasses. Customer experience is at the core of everything we do, and our challenge is to optimize our campaigns and our activities in order to improve our customer engagement while driving sales. While we were looking for last year for a platform that gave us cross-channel real-time personalization, we were looking for something which was strong on personalization across email, websites, and mobile, but also gave us real-time and highly personalized product recommendation, but also triggered campaigns like abandoned browse and abandoned baskets, and also a platform which was easy to integrate with our ESP and gave us a social proof element. The partnership with Trustpilot and Relevance gave us the chance to optimize our activities and our campaigns. And I'll talk about some of the activities we did and the results we obtained. Talking about the website, you talked already about data capture. What we did is we implemented the sign-up box that sits right below the navigation menu, and we'll follow the customers through every page on the website, and we'll give them the chance to subscribe to our newsletter, and will give us the chance to capture their email address in order for them to contact in a second phase. On the homepage, we also added personalized hero banners, which are based on their previous on-site and email activity. We also added the product recommendation modules using Fresh Relevance, which also showcase the Trustpilot ratings with and the social proof. On the product page, the social proof element is very visible on the top right side of the page. So we show the number of reviews of our products and the Trustpilot rating, but also on the product recommendation modules, we show again the Trustpilot ratings. Results from these few optimizations on sites. Currently, we attribute 1.2% of the overall web revenue to the product recommendations, and also we saw an uplift of 2% in average basket value. The social proof elements from the beginning of the year up until now already collected over 12 million impressions. On email, we implemented user-generated content and product recommendation modules. This is an example from one of the emails of our welcome series for Sunglasses Shop. The main message is one of our USPs, and we also remind customers the sign-up offer, but the greater focus is on the product recommendations, which are based on what customers previously either bought, in this case is what they previously browsed on the website, and we also added user-generated content pulled from Instagram using the Fresh Relevance widget. Abandonment, so on the abandonment triggers, we think we added the major part of our improvements, and at Glasses Direct at the moment, we offer free home trials to our customers, so customers can try a home 4 frames at a time for free. And it was very important for us to find a platform which gave us the ability to create 2 custom abandonment triggers, one for the regular home trial and one for the regular baskets. And we were able to do it via Fresh Relevance. In terms of optimization, what we did is we added GIFs as hero banners and first name personalization just to improve engagement. And when we showcase the products that customers left in their basket, we add the social proof element. In this case, it's the Trustpilot reviews. But for example, for the regular basket, we also add elements like all the information the customers already added to the basket, like vision or lens category or lens package. And also we highlight which information they have to add to the basket in order for them to complete the process. It is very important for us to help customers throughout the journey, since buying glasses online is a very considered purchase and it would take a little bit of time since it's a medical product. So we also decided to add a series of service messages, like just call customer service if you have any questions, or use our virtual try-on if the product is not currently available on the website, or the best fit machine to choose the right size for your glasses. We also add information on how to get an eye test or which lenses options are currently available on our website. In terms of browse abandonment, we can personalize our campaigns using every element of the product. In this case, this is an example of a customer browsing our collection, so we could trigger a personalized campaign based on what he previously browsed, and also recommending products based on shape, color, brand, or gender. As you can see here, we also added a social proof element, like how many people bought or browsed the product in the last 24 hours. And in general, this with the Trustpilot reviews, we think it's a great way to showcase for customers the quality of our products. But we also use Fresh Relevance in our regular campaigns. This is this offer we sent out to our Sunglasses Shop base a couple of months ago. We have used Fresh Relevance countdown banner widgets just to give an extra sense of urgency to our offer and the product recommendation module. In terms of results, the abandonment, the browse and basket abandonment combined gave us over 4% in uplift in sales, and we already have a 54% identification rate. But the greatest improvement, I think, it came from the product recommendations on email with the social proof, because they gave us up to 2 times the conversion rate when we compare them to a regular campaign with a manual product selection, and up to an extra 20% revenue per email. It's also a very efficient way to get a regular campaign out of the door, because we don't have to use time from our CRM or merchandising team to select a series of products for our email. And we're also always confident that the products we're showcasing to customers are really relevant to them. This is pretty much everything from my case, and now back to Chris.
Thanks, Ben. Really strong case study there. And obviously, if you'd like to test any of this out in your own marketing, please do get in touch. So the takeaways from today, the first one I went through was how to identify your customers and show relevant content. The second one is show your listing. And the third one, preemptively anticipate your customer needs to personalize content in real time. And then Pete took you over social proof and user-generated content, how to show that at the top of the funnel, all the way through from above the line advertising through to your product and checkout pages. Now I think we've got 5 or so minutes for a quick Q&A. I saw one question come through already, which I can definitely answer, and that is, how do I add social proof to my product recommendations? So social proof is a module within Fresh Relevance where you can leverage the Trustpilot API. So other ratings and review platforms obviously are available, but that feature is basically for you to drive in those ratings and reviews into email to show against products, either in bulk emails or abandonment emails, so your triggered emails. But then you can also flexibly filter your product recommendations by star rating. So that's a neat little feature which is super simple to set up. So please do contact it'll probably be Tom, the account director, who will look after that one. So another question that's come through on the feed here. This is an interesting one that Trustpilot must get asked all the time. What do I do about negative reviews? Can I reply to them? Pete,
thanks, Chris. Yes, so of course you can reply to them. We would always encourage customers to reply to negative reviews. I think when people are looking at reviews, they do look for negative reviews to see what's the worst that people say. It doesn't mean that they're not going to buy. In fact, often they check out the negative reviews just before they buy because they are looking for that complete picture. They often trust the company and a product more if they see a few negative reviews. But they're also looking for how you responded. Was it an appropriate comment to them? If it's not a concern for them, then they can progress and move on. But yeah, how you respond and the timeliness of that is very important. You can do that through Trustpilot. You can also do that through customer response platforms like Zendesk and Freshdesk and some of the social platforms. In terms of negative reviews, also, from our perspective, as I was saying, the consumers want trust. So for them to buy into you and your reviews, they are expecting to see some negative reviews. So don't think some negative reviews is a bad thing. As we said before, 4 stars out of 5 is just as good, pretty much, as 5 stars in terms of believability. The trick is really to have lots of reviews, and so that if the majority of your reviews are positive, and as long as you're a good business, then they should be. If you're collecting them in volumes, then some negative reviews is generally a positive. And of course, we also encourage you to listen to them and then act upon them, both in terms of responding to them, but obviously thinking about it in terms of how you improve your business.
Okay, brilliant. So the next question that's come up on the feed there, whether we should use as marketers use a survey to find out more about our customers. This is a really interesting one, I think, because you don't, especially in sign up, you don't want to overcomplicate the sign up process. It's a bit like the checkout process. You want to keep it as simple as possible to reduce friction. Obviously, when you've got things like JavaScript on the website, they're collecting signals from customers, so what they're browsing, the pages they're viewing, the products they're viewing, the particular product categories they're interested in. You can already leverage that information to personalize around them. and you'll see lots of insights. So your most popular products, even your most abandoned products, or the products which are least popular on the website, lots of insights around those. I suppose as a second phase, you'll have, especially in email, a preferences center. What do you want to opt out on? What do you want to opt into? So you're giving marketers giving customers a chance to actually personalize the experience to what they're interested in. So I wouldn't necessarily use the survey to begin with. Use the signals to feed into your strategy. And then perhaps using a kind of preference center in email, kind of do it that way if it's going to be a list of 3 or so questions. Otherwise, keep it super simple. What do they want to see? The example there from Fat Face, men, women, children. You can tick them all. You can tick one. Keep it simple.
Also, just chipping in from review side. One of the reasons Trustpilot collects so many reviews is that our review form is super simple. It is a star rating, score out of 10, and a text box. So often customers sometimes would like to ask additional questions, and I think there are other mechanisms. Obviously, there is definitely a role for market surveys, but you need to think about what that delivers to you and at what point in the journey you're asking for that feedback.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And definitely around post-purchase. I think there was an example in the presentation, actually, clicking on encouraging people to leave reviews in the post-purchase email. So it ties up the journey quite nicely. So perhaps a question for Ben here. What would you see as the first step in a personalization strategy? Where would you start?
So I think it's not an easy question, because sometimes you want to start doing everything all at once, but I think it's important to start with small things, like use first name on your emails, or just differentiate between male and female using gender. So start with small things, date of birth if you have it, and then build up on that. So as long as you keep using personalization, as long as you keep collecting data, you will have always more and more data to personalize your communications even more. As we do on Glasses Direct, after you collected enough data, you can start to separate and differentiate between buyers and non-buyers, or personalize new page experience using the data we collect from FreshRelevance or other sources to personalize their experience. So I would say start with small things, and then just listen to your audience, and they will tell you what they want their journey to be.
So look at the results, see what the
and
results
then always
are, and
test and optimize.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because obviously a personalization strategy isn't going to be the same for everyone. It's what works for your brand. We work with some non-e-commerce websites to personalize, and that journey is a little bit different. But using the tactics we've talked about in this webinar should give you kind of a nice journey to go through, just to start with the basics around data capture and triggering emails around what someone is interested in, and then layering that with dynamic content using the data that you're collecting. And of course, all of that data can be enriched with the CRM platform. So the brilliant thing with Fresh Relevance is you can leverage all your current platforms, so your current ESP, your current e-commerce platform, your current marketing database, and use all of that to make more work together in order to personalize content across different channels. So the next question here, I think we've got time for a couple more. Probably one for Pete. What benefits are there of an open platform like Trustpilot?
So the benefit of there are different flavors of review platform that are available in the marketplace. We tend to characterize them as open and closed. So closed platforms are those where the review company and the brand are only sending review invitations to people that have purchased, or basically people that they've selected. An open platform such as Trustpilot, we do that as well. So we work with our brands to send out email invitations to customers at various points during the journey. They don't have to have bought anything, Obviously, post-purchase is the most typical time to ask for feedback, but of course, because our reviews are simple, they are an experience-based review. They could be, post-experience, visiting a shop, for example. But what we have with Trustpilot is, because Trustpilot is also an independent web site, a review site, consumers can also come and find those businesses and, without being invited, leave a review about those businesses. So that, I think, really makes it more trusted, because the consumer can see that the reviews on our site are collected not just from the people that have been selected and invited, as in the closed method, but actually from the whole community. Obviously, our customers proactively invite, but they are all open to any consumer leaving a review about them at any time. Of course, we, as Trustpilot, with the scale we have as a business now, we've just passed our 50 millionth review, have substantial resources available to obviously monitor reviews. So we do as much as is humanly possible to detect and filter out fake reviews. And obviously, we support our customers where they may think a review's unfair. So we have a very strict policy guidelines around that. But we do believe, despite the occasional fake review that people try to leave, or reviews that are in dispute, we do believe that it's more important to be open than anything else, because ultimately I think everyone has the ability to have their opinion, and we believe openness is where the trust comes from. Trust in terms of the consumer seeing it's an independent review, and therefore the power of those reviews on your website and in your marketing will be more impactful than if they're just reviews you sourced effectively yourself.
Awesome. I think that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for your time in joining the webinar today. And thank you, Pete. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you.